You don't want to just come out of the gates like, hi, I'm Kelly Hanley, I work for Bozzuto, I need projects. Do you have any projects I want to work for you? Yeah, I would like freak them out, and they wouldn't want that. But I think that's a common ground, just even asking questions. So where are you from? What do you do for a living? So you're an alumni? When did you go? What years? Like, just like you would some random stranger in an elevator if you were stuck there, when you want to just kind of get to know someone. And then at some point, if you're selling a product or you're trying to give them that, just like Bob said, make sure you have your message. More often than not, it fails because you're not prepared of what you want to say. So
have a card.
Definitely have a card.
One of the most impressive vets I ever met at Wolverine that were just injured. They had cards made up, 2 chumps, 3 stumps. And they said, we'll do anything on the back of the card.
Oh my God.
But every single person they gave those cards to remembers that card. Have a card. I don't care if you don't have anything. You at least have your name and email and phone number.
And by the same token, collect as many cards as you.
I
have a book.
These folders.
I know. It gets out of control. I have like 3 books that are just full of and I find it best to organize by kind of industry, because if you try and do it alphabetically, like, you will not remember people's first and last name or whatever. So if you just go generally, like, I think that person was in development somehow, like, kind of that's what works for
There's
me.
an app now that we just found, actually, my boss and I 2 weeks ago.
You can take a picture.
Take a picture and it puts it into your contact. That I will say that when you're talking with someone from a networking perspective, and you definitely know this person is a target, we'll say, right? There's somebody that you either want to sell to or you want to get something from. You need to leave with a follow-up reason, right? Like, I have some information I'd like to send you. Do you mind if I send it to you? Find a way to connect with them again. You don't have to do that with all 40 people in the room that you don't necessarily want to talk, to again. But if there's someone through the course of a networking event that you're like, this person can probably really help me, I need to figure out a way to get to follow up with them. So, and just say, do you mind if I send you some information? Or, maybe we can grab coffee sometime. Coffee is a very easy way that's non-threatening.
Easy and cheap too,
And
because
cheap.
you take everybody out to dinner, it gets real expensive. But the other thing with that is like I've always found it's just, if you're just a good person with like good intentions, you're kind of, it comes more naturally, like, be looking for people where like, hey, I can help you, you can help me, and a lot of times I find, like, if you just do someone a favor, like, it'll come back to you. It's like,
So, true to your word, I think that everyone in this room stands behind that. It wouldn't be serving your country, wouldn't be where you are today. So I think that's an excellent, always, forever and ever, use that as your base. Now, last thing, if you do have a follow-up, and it was funny because, people that know me really well, and I am very chatty, when I get into my work mode, I'm the exact opposite. I've learned to listen, believe it or not.
Come on.
But it's
Don't
funny
believe
because
it.
my guys will go to these meetings, these pitches, so I take a team in and we try to win work. And they're just running up, they're monopolizing the clients, the conversation, and so we leave and they're like, that went awesome, and I'm like, that was horrible. And it's the person that talks the most thinks the meeting went the best. And just keep that in mind, like, you're sometimes, like an FBI, like, you're trying to get information that will help you be more powerful to act on, especially that first meeting. And people like to talk about themselves, so let them talk about themselves. And if they say no, it might just mean no right now. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean no ever. So I will say, being in sales, like, it is the most, like, disappointing. I don't know how many times I've been told no. I was getting a complex when I first started doing sales, and it was terrible. And I was like, this stinks. So, but it's when you finally win one, it makes you feel good. But don't take it personally. I think that's the other piece of it. If someone doesn't want to talk to you right there, they're a little rude, like, whatever, they're having a bad day, just let it go. So the next segment was the business development process. And I think for the most part, a lot of folks, this is applicable because you're trying to pitch something. You're trying to pitch a service, trying to convince someone to visit your coffee shop, trying to convince someone to
give you a loan,
anything and every. Very good point. Most every business startup, you're going to have to go in and convince someone, right, that to trust you, that you know what you're doing with your business. And during that, what you're doing is you're getting smart on yourself and what you have to offer, but you're also getting smart on what makes this person tick. What kind of car do they have? you know, why do they love this car so much? I mean, not that you're gonna like stalk them, but I have stalked people on the internet to try to figure out like what their extracurricular activities are. Oh, that person likes to ski. You know, you always, whatever information you have will make you more powerful in your sell, right? So that's the first step. And then going through the business development and marketing, you know, maybe this particular person you're trying to win work from lives in a neighborhood that you know there's other people there that you want to win their work as well, right? Well, maybe a marketing piece, it could be flyer, you could have like a special discount for Kings Crossing community or something that you want to show that you want to be more than just someone that works on their car, like you want to have a partnership. You want to have a relationship with them because everyone needs to feel that they trust you, right? So trust is probably one of the biggest things as a businessman, a small, you know, business that you're trying to portray. Because I think that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and from the entrepreneurial standpoint, I mean, and Jodi said it earlier, you're kind of selling yourself from that perspective. You know, until you get to the Turner, which then prides itself on name and reputation, you got to sell yourself. So thinking about what are those different ways I can do that. You know, some people do the cold call. It is so hard and so painful. It can work as long as you stick with it once you do a follow-up. But, you know, the Mary Kay salesman, I mean, I'm sure she gets probably lists a few people and calls them like, you know, I'd like for you to da-da. She has to have her pitch. She has to get to the point. People might get annoyed. So making sure that you know what that campaign looks like. You want to look for a champion. Who in that either organization or household would really like me and will help me convince everyone else? So if you're trying to tackle a whole neighborhood and be like that preferred person, maybe there's that one neighbor that is going to be like, I love Jodi, and she's awesome. Like, you want that advocate.
Right, and maybe it's like the head of the homeowners association in that area. You know, there's all these like little mini networks everywhere that if you start digging you can find. And, you know, just in thinking about the strategy behind the mechanics, like what I choose is the most reliable that is closest to my house or my work or whatever, you know. So in that instance, you know, like what you're saying makes a lot of sense in that scenario. Also the daycare or, you know, or the arts and crafts, or like, you know, because you're going around to, people tend to gravitate towards what's convenient, I guess is all I'm saying.
So understand your market.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when we say that, like, understand who needs daycare. How do you find that out? I mean, it could be connecting with people at the local elementary school because likelihood there's younger siblings or something. Like, trying to discover how many different ways you can find where that market is. You know, coffee shop if it's near a university or school, like getting that word out. How do you do that? So that's kind of the customer development, is having the message you want properly relayed, because the last thing you want is the wrong message to get out there. And then the wrong customer to start kind of being unhappy with you. And then that can also spread like wildfire. Make sure you close the deal. Don't be afraid to ask, right? You know, would you consider using my daycare? Would you consider visiting me at my arts and crafts? I'd like to see you. Say what you need to say. So many times, like, and I was horrible at it when I first started in sales. Like, I was afraid to ask, I really want to build for you. You know, I don't know, I didn't want to be too pushy. And then I realized, oh my God, I haven't even like told them I want to work for them, and they're never going to read my mind.
No.
Yeah. Well, and I think rejection is scary.